Hey, welcome to Thursday-ish, every week-ish, Family Matters with Kevin Peterson, sponsored by the beloved Jaywalker Lodge out there in Carbondale, Colorado. Kevin, how are you?
I'm good. I'm all right, man. I had the Tuesday morning. I went in. I thought I was just getting a bite guard at the dentist, and I ended up getting an extraction and all this bridge,
Oh,
just all sorts of. So got there at 8, left at 11, fully numbed up, and then you know how it works. Then the pain set in.
yeah.
So that was Tuesday. Today I'm still feeling a little bit. So I'm a little grumpy but I'm good. I don't like the dentist. I don't like pain. I don't, that's just not my stuff. I'm not into that, Jay. I'm not like you.
You know what? I realized early on, I think I had a really bad dentist growing up because and still to this day, am definitely scared of the dentist. And
Right?
I've talked to some people like when they went to the dentist as a kid, it was nothing like anything. I'm not going to go into anti-dentist, but I just don't think I had a good dentist growing up because it was painful. I remember that and telling like my mom would have to like bribe us with like whatever we wanted afterwards because I would scream like people were anyway.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you. My theory is that I don't know about you, but when I was a child, all the dentists were like these World War II vets, these big, guys that were just like, hold still, yank. And I'm like, ah, and so now, when I lived in Colorado, a friend of mine who's a hygienist, she's like, look, we have an all female practice and we are super kind and gentle. And I'm like, okay. And that was like the best as it got. And my people here are fine. This just caught me off guard. I was just like,
I'm sure they're great, but you know what? Anyway, well, what we do here is we bash dentists. Maybe next week we'll pick on lawyers. I guess
lawyers are good.
Whatever. We just pick. But we answer questions. Family Matters to the best of our ability. We answer questions. We calm fears. We enlighten to the best of our abilities, and all things to do with substance abuse, codependency, mental health, whatever it is. So let's get right into it.
Okay.
And so here's, keep the questions coming. But I love when you hit something within the question, and I'll get to the question. I'm sure you will pick it up as much as I did, but it's just interesting some things that within the question there's a So Kevin, is it a healthy thing to do to just disconnect? I will say I've been divorced from my husband for several years, and our son has struggled for 10 plus years. And my husband, who has a new family, has just ultimately disconnected from my son, has told my son if he ever wants to get help, he's more than willing to pay for it, but refuses to talk to them, acknowledge them, doesn't want, basically goes on and on about, he has basically cut off communication, saying, if you want help, I'll pay for it. And says he's got his own family with a couple of new kids. Me, on the other hand, I worry constantly. I am remarried for now. My new husband, has shown the desire to cut bait. Basically, she says cut bait as well. I just cannot do that. I don't see how healthy it is to cut off a kid who's struggling.
Yeah.
So there it is. You got a mom that is trying to love her son back to health, and you have two husbands, ex-husband, current husband, maybe two ex-husbands, it sounds like, if she doesn't get some help herself. And they've just cut off contact, saying, "Hey, if you need help, we're here. Otherwise, good luck to you."
Yeah. Well, so the question is that what's like? What is it? I mean, I get it.
Mom is the one that's like loving, and she's just saying, how is dad just cutting off communication and just being all right with it?
Well, I would venture to say dad's not all right with it. He's angry, but that's all he's got. Okay. I get what you were saying about I can sort of see through the question. Here's the solution, and then we can talk about the problem. I'm totally cool with setting the boundaries of saying, hey, you got to get your shit squared away and clear this up and get sober and get a job and do whatever needs to be done. And I'll help you do those things. That's the caveat. But if you're not going to do those things, I'm not helping you and I'm not paying. You're not living here. I'm not paying for anything. That rodeo is over. So if you want to make a commitment to the lifestyle, I'm happy to help you with that commitment. And that means you can live here, whatever. We'll figure that out. But it comes with, and I wrote a book. And in the book, I say there's 3 boundaries and only 3 boundaries. No drugs, no alcohol. You have to go to school or go to work and become self-supporting. And you have to be working on your mental health and your sobriety. That's it. I mean, and so as long as the person is willing to meet those 3 things and through accountability and verifiability, et cetera, great, we'll work with you. But if their first position is I'm not quitting drinking and I'm not quitting smoking weed, it's like, oh, okay, I will totally respect you as an adult and your choices, but you're not going to be doing that here and you'll get 0 financial from me. So that's where I would say mom and say dad is probably at that point where he's like, I'm tired of funding the party. I'm happy to fund the healthy lifestyle, but I'm not funding this lifestyle anymore. So I think that conversation would be the healthy way of going about it. And I think, you and I got that conversation, I love you. But here's the deal. Either this stops or you stop being a member of the family. It's your choice. And they let me ruminate on that for a couple of months. And, that was the end of that, and I was like, well, and they were like, no, we're not doing that. And they held their ground. And that forced me to see, and I had a job, I had a car, I had a place to live, but I didn't have a family. And so, mom and dad were clear. And I think a combination of mom wanting to be there for him and saying, I get what you're saying, but here's how you need to do that. Not just have a blanket open door policy. So hope that makes sense.
Well, it's the common misplaced, love kind of, and then also this, boundaries. Some people, a healthy boundary can be extremely powerful, and some people see boundaries as a weapon. And how could my ex-husband put in this boundary and so forth? And she even. She ended this. Which is a common, I think, families just in general that I talked with. She's do you think I'm addicted to fixing people? And is that even a thing? Yes, it is. Yes.
It's more powerful than the drugs and the alcohol.
Yes. I would much rather have my cocaine habit and my drinking habit than having the addiction of fixing people.
Word. Yeah. No, I'm totally with you, man. So the question, is that a thing? Yeah, it's absolutely a thing. Now, here's the interesting thing. The person that, I deal with this all day, right? And they're like, well, it's because of this guy. I'm like, so no, it's really not, actually. And we can, through education and conversation, what we're going to do is figure out where it came from. And I can already, when I have like a savvy client, I'm like, you want me to tell you where it's from? You want to cut to the chase? And they're like, sure. I said, your childhood. And inevitably I get one of 2 answers. Oh no, my childhood was perfect. And I'm like, okay, so now I know I'm right, or they're like, yeah, our house was crazy. I'm like, yeah, because like, as a kid, you had to accommodate that. You had to figure it out. You had to deal with the crazy, and the way you deal with the crazy is by being codependent. Kids are not supposed to figure out how to solve the problems in the house. That's not their job. But when that becomes your job, you become codependent because you realize for self-survival, I have to make sure everything's okay. And as an adult, we call that control. Yeah. So there you go. Man, you're hitting all my good stuff today.
Jeez.
Swing.
Yeah. So we why don't we get to the other one? My somehow got logged out. So with let's go with
Stumped you, huh?
good Lord, all kinds. So well, we're talking about addicting to boundaries. I will. This one from a while ago. Is emotional detachment a boundary or just just abandonment dressed up? Which I thought was pretty insightful, but pretty powerful question.
Say that again.
Is emotional detachment, which we kind of talked about. I mean, it could have been same family, but she wants to say there was, she gave her kind of history, but she says, is emotional detachment a boundary or just abandonment all dressed up?
Oh, what's okay? Okay. No, it is definitely a boundary. I'll tell you what the answer to the other part is. What is abandonment? That's that no contact nonsense. The whole I'm going no contact. Okay, so here's the thing. I get it. Maybe your parents are nuts, or maybe your ex or whatever. If your family is driving you cuckoo banana and you just can't get through it. Especially nowadays with the current world that we're in, there's a lot of family division going on. And my position is, okay, short, of course, of physical or sexual abuse or any sort of thing like that, okay? My position is to say, hey, I want a relationship with you, but this has to stop. And if it's not going to stop, then I can't have a relationship with you. But if you want to have a relationship with me, I'm willing to work that out and figure that out. But here are my boundaries. Does this sound familiar? Here are my boundaries. We cannot talk about religion. We cannot talk about politics. We cannot talk about college football, and because those things are just too triggering. And the thing is, I need you to respect me and where I come from. And, and maybe the best way for us to do that is to not talk about it. And that's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all, because you're offering the door's open, but you're also setting the rules that you're not coming in here and bashing me and smacking things around, and I'm not putting up with that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to, you might not want to. You have to sort of search within yourself about what you want. Here's another thing, and this will be super popular. You are not obligated to hang out with your family. If you don't like them,
amen.
Right? If you don't like them and they're not kind to you, or just it doesn't work. Okay, great. Set a boundary. Hold the boundary. Just be like, and I don't mean like, again, never talk to me again. I mean like, yeah, no, I'm good. There are members of my family that I'm like, I'll probably end up hearing about their funeral, and I'll be like, okay. I mean, I'm neutral today. I'm neutral today, but I'll be like, all right. There you go. Good for them. And but I'm not putting myself in a position where I'm going to get abused or hurt or picked at or taken advantage of. And so that's okay. There's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself, but you don't have to go over the line and get offensive. You could just be neutral,
Yeah. Well, you talked about there's a lot of family division going on, and ultimately, like in our world, it's basically pinpointed around the addicted individual or something like that. But my mind automatically goes to, and then there's this belief that if Johnny gets sober or Sally gets sober, that the family's just going to magically be the white picket fence and so forth. It begs to remind everyone, Johnny getting sober isn't going to take care of all the family issues and all the division within the family. Is, you guys can blame Johnny and Sally right now, but if they ever did change their life and got sober, you'd realize the family still has the same problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's the, as you and I are well aware of, we read in a book one day that said the bottle is just a symptom. It's not the issue. It's the manifestation of the issue. I mean, I have a physical problem with alcohol and drugs. I mean, literally have a physical problem with, but there's a whole system that goes with it. There's a whole lifestyle that goes with it, and not just me, my family lifestyle. So both those things have to be. You eliminate the drugs and the alcohol, then you go after the fun stuff. But I mean, let's be honest. Most people in our client base eliminate the drugs and the alcohol, and they're like, "We're good. So he's fine. We're good. If he's good, I'm good." And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "What do you mean no?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
You're giving him too much power.
When they say yes to go to treatment, the family thinks we're good. So, not even sober. He said yes. All right. Well, let's throw a party. Good luck to you. And let us know if you need undies. We'll send them. Love you. And then boom, close that front door. But here's one that I've kind of compacted into, because I did a little work before the show. So kudos to me.
What?
And I finally found my notes. But anyway, so I compacted into this. So Kevin, you always talk about us, the family changing.
Yeah.
And what if our loved one is never willing to change? Are we still needing to? I mean, why are we the only ones that need sometimes change? What if our loved ones not willing to change?
Well, yes, of course you need to change, because you can't accommodate that. You need to get to a space where you're setting the just the concept of setting a boundary with your loved one who's using is changing the family system and holding that boundary. I mean, that in itself is a galactic shift. Okay. I mean, again, when my folks and my sister, in August of 1990 said, "That's it, we're done," and I was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to play this game again." And they stuck it, they held it. And I was like, so if that was them changing how they were going to engage with me, and it forced me to see things differently and behave differently, if I wanted to be part of the family. So that's the answer to the question is yes. And that's why, and I outline it all in my book, Chronic Hope, Families and Addiction.
Amen. Well, I always tell families it's like getting healthier. Like if the doctor says you need to lose weight or you need to exercise, and you can't, if your husband's unwilling to go through it, like that doesn't mean that you're get off the hook. Like, why not get healthier? The changes within this that we're talking about is for the healthier yourself and the healthier family. Even if Johnny's not willing to get sober or unwilling to do really anything, you can still get better by protecting yourself and doing some therapy. The changes isn't just for the sake of changing. The change ultimately has to lead to some good, is what I would say. So,
yeah, absolutely, 100%, no questions asked.
So, all right, we'll do one more because I went 5 minutes without talking, trying to find my notes. I've combined two, and I think this is a really, really good question. So prepare to go viral on this. What would you say, Kevin? What would you say is scarier? Because I've done both: letting go of control, or watching them destroy themselves while we hold on.
Scarier?
Yes.
Holding on. Because it's like Groundhog Day.
Yep.
ironically. And, it's like Groundhog Day, same day, over and over, over and over, no different, over and over, crisis, crisis, fix me, crisis, crisis, fix me, fix me. And it sucks the life out of you. It drains if you're in a marriage or in a relationship, it'll kill that, and if you have other children or other people in the family, they're not going to get any attention because you're too busy, taking care of your adult child, and so yeah, letting go is scary, but they're also initially it's a little scary because you're not in charge and in control and have all the knowledge and the information, which is that's the whole point. But eventually you get to a space where you're like, hey, I'm not like, yay, because I know he's still doing his thing, but I actually feel better because I'm not letting it run my day. So it's really about reclaiming your life. And that tends to be a hard thing to figure out.
Well, it goes back to our first question. I mean, you had a mom writing in about ex-husband and a current husband that she's like, it's driving a wedge within our marriage too. She's obviously living and dying with whatever Johnny or whoever her son is out there. The husband seemed to have mastered the giving up the control and saying, hey, if you need help, we'll be here. But other than that, mom is driving herself crazy, trying to love herself and manage her, Johnny, and doesn't seem like Johnny's all that interested in changing, probably because mom's there putting pillows every time he falls. So not saying it's easy, not saying this is just simple things, because this is families, long time. Kevin always talks about childhood, like how you were raised. And so, but making the change within the family dynamics for addiction, it could be life-changing. It really is. So this is why we do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're kind of back to the previous question of changing the family system is that, if you change the family, I think about it as a business, right? If the business is having problems, you don't fire the employees. You change the way the business does, business. You change the systems, and then if they don't want to if the employees choose to not want to participate, and I had a boss when we were adopting Salesforce 20 something years ago, and he said, if you don't adopt this in the next month, you will be given an opportunity to seek employment elsewhere. And I was like, huh? Oh, okay, I'm on it. And he was dead serious, because I got to tell you, a month later, there were some openings, and I was like, oh, goddamn, so you kind of have to have the same perspective, is that we are changing the way we're doing business. And if you want to participate in the business, you got to get on board. So, sometimes people can see it that way,
Yeah. So,
anyway.
Well, keep the questions coming. We'll do this to the best of our ability every week-ish, and normally Thursdays-ish. But Kevin, you did well. We'll clock you out. I'll call your bosses. You're done for the day. You've done everything.
Hey, next week's